get that started. Perfect. All right. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. He's very excited for collab demo day too. All right, perfect. So I think we can probably give it a minute or so. Just let a few people join, a few more people join, and then we'll jump right into it. So yeah, if you don't know how to change your name, you should be able to go over to the participants list. There should be an option to, I think it's 3 dots to click on your name and rename yourself there. It's a more button with a little arrow, and then you can rename yourself. So you would just want to change that. You can have your, sorry about that, your name there, so we can have that really easily to see the team names. Perfect. All right, so I think we'll jump ahead and get started. We're just going to do a really quick overview for folks joining us as prospective students into what the sprint program looks like, and then we'll jump right into the presentations as well. So some of you may already know our sprint program is a 4-week product management training program. You really get the opportunity to have hands-on experience, actually, brainstorming, ideating, conducting user research, and building out your spec document and a portfolio at the end of it as well too. It is a prerequisite for our COLAB bootcamp program. So all of the presentations you'll be seeing today are from folks who have gone through the sprint program and then joined the COLAB bootcamp program as well too. But it'll give you an idea of what they've been actually able to build after having gone through sprint and then meeting with a team. Just to give a quick overview of how it works, it is 4 weeks. It is part-time, so you don't have to worry about not having a full-time job while you go through it. It is cohort-based, so you get the opportunity to network with other folks looking to transition into product management, and it's peer-led and community-assisted as well too. So there's 2 to 4 hours of individual classwork, and it is 100% online and remote. So you do get that connectivity with other folks, but it is online for convenience as well too. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to us. You can email me directly at beth@joincolab.io, or whatever email you have access to. One of us will be able to reach out and answer that as well too. All right. So we'll jump right into it. We do have 2 rooms that will be set up today just because we need to divide, the number of great presentations we have going on. So if you see your name under room 1 main Zoom, you'll stay here. Don't worry about the breakout rooms. And if you see your name under room 2, breakout room 1, you'll actually select breakout room 1 once we've opened that to jump ahead and go in there. Just double checking the chat. I can't see it while I'm presenting, unfortunately. Perfect. All right. So sometimes people do have a little bit of trouble joining the breakout rooms. If that's the case, you should be able to hover over the Zoom menu at the bottom. There's a 3-dot button that says more. When you click on that, there's quite a few options there, but you'll be looking for the one that says breakout rooms. When you click that, once the rooms have been opened, I'll open it now. You should be able to go ahead and select that room and choose join. Unfortunately, I can't share that on my screen while I'm screen sharing, and Zoom doesn't allow you to do that. So hopefully that should be pretty straightforward. If you're having any trouble, we can assign you directly to the room too. So folks who are joining us that aren't part of COLAB16, that are prospectives, alumni, please do stay in this room. If you're a mentor, you've been assigned your rooms directly. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out through the DM messaging as well. And that should be pretty much straightforward. So if you are in room 2, you can go ahead and jump over there now. And Shifumi will be joining you over there too. Someone is knocking really hardly on my door. Hopefully it's just a telemarketer. Or not a telemarketer. Oh my gosh, those are on the phone. Oh, yes. Sorry, Caitlin. It is called room 1, but it is the breakout room 1. It's confusing because you can only open 1 room, so it won't technically be room 2. We should probably rename those so it's a bit more clear. So you can go ahead and join breakout room number 1 if you're in room 2. Hopefully that's a little more clear. All right. And I'm just going to try to go through really quickly and assign folks if there's any trouble. That way we can get started. So if the first team can kind of get themselves situated, get themselves ready, make sure you've got your video turned on so we can quickly spotlight you. And I'm just going to go through the list while we wait to make sure that folks are joining. Yeah, I see some people are joining. That's awesome. That's great. Definitely, again, folks who are joining now, if you haven't changed your name already, please do change your Zoom name so we know if you are part of a team that you've got your team name in there. If you are a prospective student, if you're a mentor, that way it's really quick and easy for us as well too. Just at a quick glance, I don't see anyone who is in this room that should be at the moment. If you are and you're confused, feel free to send a message in the chat, especially directly to the COLAB timer. That would be great. He can help assign you to another room. Francis is on there. All right. Perfect. So I will stop sharing my screen so that we can get started with the first team. Again, if you are just joining us, that actually might be my boyfriend at the door, I'm realizing. I don't know if you guys can hear the knocking. Sorry if you can't. But yeah, so we'll jump right into it. I will stop sharing and we'll pass it over to Dr. Carquotes. And I'll start spotlighting you now.
Testing, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
All right. Hello all, we are Team Dr. Carquotes. Dr. Carquotes is a tool that allows car owners to quickly compare prices of local auto shops. Meet our team. I'm Timothy, and with me is Sana, Innocent, and Zadok, and our mentor Alex is in the room as well. So have you ever received a bill from a mechanic and thought, no way, what, how? Unfortunately, this is a common occurrence. Hi, I'm Dr. Carquotes, and I've seen it all during my time around the auto shop. From the mom of 3 who just needs an affordable oil change for her minivan, to the 55-year-old vet with a busted tranny. And of course, the classic college student beater. While I do recognize that there are many issues, one theme remains common. It's nearly impossible to compare repair costs ahead of time. Thankfully, I'm the cure to this problem. Patients can check out my web app that features quick, intuitive search parameters, rapidly identify repair and maintenance options, and most importantly, compare local auto shop prices, all at the tip of their fingers. You might be wondering how I came up with this brilliant idea. Simple. I consulted the stars. I conducted user interviews, analyzed survey data, and even reviewed the stock market, all to conclude that money is tight for most people right now. I considered that most car owners don't actually know much about cars, and that maintenance and repairs are just another to-do item for them. Finally, I knew I needed a way to compare maintenance prices, so I did what any good millennial would do. I Googled it, but the all-knowing Google failed me. Meet Emily, classic story here. She needs an oil change. She couldn't tell me the difference between regular and synthetic oil. She just pays for whatever the mechanic says she needs. She's a mom of 3 kids under 5, and time and money are tight for her. As a master of empathy, I know not everyone wants to talk shop, so I decided to do the detective work for Emily. All I need from Emily are a few quick details: the zip code, car make and model, and the maintenance or repair needed. Then I find the 3 most affordable options in Emily's area and present them to her for her review. As an additional courtesy, I let her know the general range she should expect for an oil change on a minivan. Finally, Emily needs to make a decision. When she has, she can tap on the auto shop to get their contact info. Whether the auto repair is big or small, remember one thing: Dr. Carquotes knows it all. So hopefully you loved meeting Dr. Carquotes. I know our product team did. Here are a few things that we learned while we were building this web app. For me, it was the importance of focusing on the problem space. It was reinforced, and I learned how crucial it was to clearly pitch the problem space to my team. I learned how to guard myself and the team against scope creep and how to ruthlessly prioritize shipping a working MVP on time.
So I've enhanced my knowledge of effectively communicating the UX design process and my design choices with my team. I also understand the significance of constant communication. I've also learned the agile process and can prioritize the tasks efficiently under tight deadlines. Additionally, I'm confident in presenting, discussing, and also getting feedback on ongoing work, especially part of our team's iteration process.
Well, I realize how important it is that devs also be part of the design process. It helps provide insights on what's achievable or what can be reasonably implemented early on. Effective communication and synergy among the team members made working on this product seem effortless. Being a part of the decision-making process on the roadmap of our product in order to reach the desired goal has been an eye-opening and exciting experience.
For me, I've learned the value of seeking clarification and actively listening to the perspectives and suggestions of others. This has greatly improved my problem solving and communication skills. By taking the time to understand different perspectives and ideas, I've been able to effectively communicate my own thoughts and ideas to others, leading to more productive and collaborative discussions and decision making.
Thank you all so much for your time. Any questions?
Okay, so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I have two questions. My first question is, so if my understanding is correct, you always present like the cheapest three options to the various users. And I guess is the expectation that they would likely kind of pick the lowest one, or they will kind of do other research so that they can narrow down their search from here?
Good question. Yeah, the three cheapest are what's going to be presented. And the idea behind that was the person here is here because they're trying to save money. So they're looking for a deal. And the idea behind 3 and not any more was more of the psychology principle of less is more. We don't want to give them decision fatigue.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess somewhat, like, and then I guess from there, then they would kind of have to do a little more research around the 3 options, but it really kind of helps them like zone in on, I don't have to like look through 10 options and these are the 3. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yeah, these are 3 mechanics. They're all priced in the same range, right? They're the cheapest, and they're within that range that's presented at the top.
Awesome.
So yeah, those are the 3 that you could do more research in, and that's the idea behind that contact.
Makes sense. I know someone else seemed to have another question, so I'll ask my second question later.
Am I missing the questions?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions just yet. Does anybody else have any other questions? Feel free to pop it in the chat, or if you're a mentor, you can unmute and I can spotlight you as well.
I do have another question since
Go
nobody's,
ahead.
I thought someone's going to say something. All right. And I'm curious, did you have to pivot, and what was it? And how did you kind of land on that decision that like you kind of have to, change your direction a little bit?
Yeah, good question. We did not need to pivot in terms of idea, but we did need to pivot in terms of data. Zadok, would you like to speak into the data issue that we encountered?
Yeah, for the data, one of our major challenges was getting a reliable source of data. So for now, we are working with a kind of dummy data. For later on, while we work on the MVP, we can bring other reliable sources of data, like getting an API endpoint for car repair quotes.
Does that answer your question, Emily?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Great job, team. Really, really exciting to see all of your hard work over the last 8 weeks. And we'll move on to the next team. Feel free to keep an eye on the chat. If anyone has any other questions, do pop them in there for Team Dr. Car Quotes. All right.
Thanks so much, y'all.
All right. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm not going to start my video here. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome. So I hope you guys are all having a fantastic afternoon. We are Team Stay Fresh here to present our product Camo Tea, and I'll be speaking on behalf of my team today. My name is Cherry, and I believe with me today are my designer Seb, as well as our developer Victor, and our mentor Alex is also in the room with us. So a little overview of what we're going to be covering today. We're going to start off with our problem space before delving into our user story. Then we'll demo out our solution before wrapping up with our key learnings. So our problem space, insomnia. This is something that impacts over 45% of the adult population. Have you ever really stayed up a little too late as a result of a flight, a project that you had to wrap up, or you just couldn't sleep and then you woke up feeling really groggy the next day? This kind of impaired daytime functioning is estimated to cost people over $6 billion indirectly due to loss of productivity as well as work absences. I'm sure you guys have all experienced it firsthand. It's truly awful to go through the day feeling out of sorts and not being able to put your best foot forward. And it happens sometimes because a lot of us can stay up tapping away on our phones in bed. And I know I'm certainly guilty of that. So for our user story, we're going to meet Sally Snooze. So Sally has stayed up a little too often to finish some projects that may be due the day after. She has a few presentations and papers. She also has a case of chronic insomnia. So oftentimes when she can't sleep, she'll stay up tapping away on her phone. These aren't really good habits because she needs to wake up for her 8:30 a.m. classes, and the lack of sleep can lead to her feeling exhausted and groggy. So she learns about sleep restriction therapy, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy which is often used to treat insomnia by essentially restricting the amount of time sleep in bed. This requires calculation of your sleep efficiency as well as the average time spent in bed. And she tries to track her sleep schedule with some existing spreadsheets, but there's actually too many incremental changes and calculations that need to be done. So she goes from being excited to a little confused. These are the existing spreadsheets that she was able to find quickly on Google, and while they can help her, they're slightly different from what she actually needs these spreadsheets to perform. So essentially, our problem statement boils down to how can sleep restriction therapy be made easier to implement for people with insomnia so that they can benefit from a healthy sleep schedule. So for our usability testing, we actually conducted testing with a competitor sleep app, and we were able to gain some common insights to further build out and develop our own product. So first off, the importance of night mode. Night mode, friendly to your eyes as well as your circadian rhythm by reducing the amount of blue light when you're getting ready for bed. It overall just simplifies the process and makes it easier on your biological systems. The second is actionable feedback. A lot of these apps tend to lack a so what. Once you've informed the user about their sleep schedule, and what are the actionable steps that they must take in order to address it. And lastly, users were also a fan of the simplified user interface, something that they could easily use without excessive buttons or typing, something essentially that reduces the amount of screen time. So with these kind of considerations in mind, we were able to really out our P. It was playing. And essentially that's for when it simplifies one of the fundamental calculations necessary for sleep restriction therapy for you. So it calculates both your average sleep time as well as your sleep efficiency. And from there, you can improve your sleep. So this is done using essentially this tool. So once you have your average sleep time as well as your sleep efficiency, you input your determined bedtime, and then this will spit out a time when you should be going to bed in order to benefit the most from this implemented sleep restriction. So at its fundamental form, our MVP really, as our mentor helped me kind of reframe it, was a skateboard. It helps us and the user reach the fundamental first step of sleep restriction therapy, but there's a few more steps that could be used and implemented to further benefit the user. So one of the next steps would be to further track user breadth of data. This would be important as essentially it would provide more metrics such as sleep quality, sleep goals, and maybe total sleep of the user over a continued period of time. This could give them insights into how their sleep is changing consistently with this therapy. We'd also like to implement a more thorough SRT regimen over per se the course of a user determined period. So this could be something like maybe Sally wants to adjust her sleep schedule over 2 weeks because she is on the holidays right now and she has this time to sort of adjust her sleep. And lastly, we'd also like to potentially interface with external functions such as alarm apps on phones or Bluetooth connected lights in order to further optimize sleep conditions as well as simplify the number of steps that the user requires to utilize this app. So our key learnings for myself, I really learned the importance of remaining flexible and open when things don't go as planned. I feel like being able to adjust on the spot really sort of ties into my second point about adaptive communication. You have to learn to change and adjust depending on what the team needs. And this was definitely a learning process since different time zones and schedules really forced us to consider different methods to work more effectively as a team. For my designer, the designer to developer handoff was an integral skill that he really had to develop and work on during this project. Besides that, brainstorming solutions together with the team to successfully articulate solutions was something that he really benefited from. And for our developer, he really learned more technical skills such as using TypeScript and researching the correct libraries to use for our product. Overall, as a team, if you want to go far, you go together. And again, the importance of effective communication is really something that I think we learned a lot more. And with that, that concludes our presentation. Thank you all so much for your time. We can take any questions that you may have.
Great. Yeah, we'll open it up for a quick question. I think we might only have time for one. So if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute. If you're a mentor, pop it in the chat. Or if you're not a mentor, you can unmute too.
What are the different strategies you use to improve your communication? It seemed like it was a big theme.
I think like realizing that our initial goal of synchronous communication and meetings was maybe something that was less realistic when a few of us had busier work schedules as well as a significant time zone discrepancy. It sort of turned into more asynchronous checkups and sort of these daily stand-ups where we were coordinating with our teams what needed to be done. And while it was different and not what we were expecting, I think it still ended up working out pretty well. So, yeah.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Emily, for asking the question. And thank you, Cherie, for the great presentation and awesome products. So we'll move on to the next team, which is post-care. If you don't have your video on already, please turn it on so I can spotlight you all. All right, take it away.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Okay, cool. So hopefully you can see my screen as well. Welcome to PostCare, and we are a tool that helps patients through surgery recovery. So our team is myself, I'm the product manager, our designer, Julia Shin, who is unable to be with us today, and our developers will go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'm Ismail, I'm the front-end developer.
Hi, I'm David, I'm the backend developer.
And our mentor is Katie, and she was amazing. So thanks to Katie for all of her help and support throughout this project. So to give a little bit of problem background, in 2019, there were over 12 million surgical procedures performed in the US. In fact, over 75% of these surgeries are done as outpatient, meaning that the patient goes home shortly after surgery without access to doctors, nurses, or a care team. After an outpatient surgery, your doctor might say something like, make sure you get some rest, ice the area every 20 minutes and you'll be fine, and then send you on your way. But in reality, surgery recovery at home can be confusing, complicated, and take much longer than expected. After a personal experience I had with surgery, my recovery was much more difficult and intense than I thought. I couldn't exercise, I had to change my diet, and I had a million questions about healing. I knew there had to be a better way to manage post-op recovery without trying to call my doctor every 15 minutes. So to get deeper into the problem space, the post-care team began doing extensive user research with patients who recently had surgery. And some of the key pain points that we identified while we conducted our research include 59% of patients received only verbal recovery instructions, meaning that their doctor gave no written copy to reference. Many patients found it really hard to remember what they were told to do, and some patients were still under the effects of anesthesia and couldn't remember it all. Only 44% of the patients that we surveyed said their doctor was readily available to answer questions after the procedure, and patients had a lot of questions. Finally, 100% of the patients we interviewed said that they felt their recovery instructions were lacking, confusing, and it generally left them unsure about next steps. So to define our problem statement, we came up with, how might we make it easier for patients to recover from surgery at home? After carefully considering the range of potential needs that we could design features for, we were able to narrow down and prioritize the following: a patient dashboard, a to-do list, and an easy way to message the doctor without having to call the office. So unfortunately, our designer is not here, but we did a pretty extensive competitive analysis, which helped us inform our design decisions. We really wanted to be patient-focused and patient-forward while maintaining a clean, simple user interface. And for our development, I'm going to hand it over to Ismail.
So for the front-end development, we used React and Redux and Tailwind CSS for styling. Next. So PostCare is a React-based progressive web application that helps you manage your post-surgery recovery. The key features are the dashboard to access your electronic medical records and stay on top of upcoming tasks, a to-do list to keep track of your post-surgery tasks, and a secure messaging so you can communicate with your provider easily and securely. In addition, the app is PWE, so it can be installable in mobiles and it has mobile-friendly UI. So this is the landing page of our website, web app. We have Git start to create a new account and sign to your account. When the patient sign in, it will be redirected to the dashboard where there is a recent providers, the upcoming appointment and the recovery instructions. And the messenger, there's a way to chat with the doctor. And we have to-do lists with daily, weekly, and monthly views with the upcoming tasks.
And David will talk about our backend.
The backend was built with Laravel and MySQL. Laravel is a PHP framework renowned for its robustness, simplicity, and ability to handle complex data relationships. It features a model view controller architecture that allows developers to build organized and maintainable applications by separating the application's data, presentation, and logic layers. Laravel also provides a powerful and intuitive object relational mapping system, which simplifies working with databases by abstracting away the complexities of SQL queries. Also, these features make Laravel an excellent choice for building scalable, maintainable, and high-performance applications, which can handle complex data relationships. Next.
So we did some usability testing, but I think I'll skip through this just in the interest of time and move forward to talk about our learnings. As the PM, I learned the importance of moving fast and committing to team decisions. Second, the need to identify the why of the product, which really helps define the most impactful features. As a team, we listened to each other and we were able to rescope as needed within our time frame. And finally, communication is so important. I learned how to be specific about next steps and adapt to our backlog on the fly. And from our designer, Julia, she learned to test early and often, identify issues early on in the process so that they can be addressed before they become a bigger problem. Focusing on the user, taking the time to understand the needs and preferences of the user experience is essential. And finally, being flexible, pivoting ideas if feedback or testing suggests that a particular design approach isn't working. And then Ismail.
So as a developer, I learned the value of working with a diverse team and gaining unique perspective on the project workflow. Also, I gained deeper understanding of web technologies and the product and software development lifecycle, and the importance of teamwork, communication, and adaptability. Also, I learned the ability to work effectively with others and adjust to changes through collaborating with team members.
COLAB has been a great experience for me. One of the most important things I learned is the power of strong communication skills. Being able to communicate technical concepts to non-technical team members and vice versa is crucial for the success of any project. Additionally, I've been exposed to different perspectives, which has broadened my thinking and enabled me to approach problem solving with greater creativity and adaptability. Working with team members from different disciplines has challenged my assumptions and enabled me to find creative solutions to complex problems. Finally, I've learned to adjust quickly to changing requirements and shifting priorities, which has made me a more effective team player and a more valuable contributor to the success of our products. Julian.
Okay, so we do have some next steps, but I know we're out of time. So thank you, everyone, and thank you especially to the team and to our mentor. We had a great experience.
Wonderful. I think we have a bit of time to open it up to at least one question. We're doing pretty good on time. So if there is at least one question, perfect.
I got a question. I noticed that you talked about patient care in the dashboard, and I was curious how the team is getting that information. Will there be something like a doctor portal, or is it sort of standard post-care information based on your surgery?
Yeah, great question. So there is a doctor and provider side to this app, and we didn't quite have time to build that out in the course of the program. So we wanted to focus on the patient experience. But after surgery, we do work with the doctor's office to input all of these specific instructions from your doctor so that the instructions are going to be specific to your surgery and to your recovery care plan.
Great. Thank you so much, team. Wonderful job. And we'll move on to the next team, which is AudioScribe. Perfect. Thank you all for your patience while I spotlight and unspotlight folks. That would be a great Zoom upgrade if we could group spotlight folks. All right, go ahead, team.
All right. All right, can everyone see my screen? Perfect. Hi, we're Team AudioScribe, and we're excited to share with you what we worked on for the past 8 weeks. Before we begin, I wanted to introduce the team. So my name is James. I am the product manager.
My name is Kirby. I'm the product designer.
And I'm Royal. I'm the front-end dev.
And it doesn't look like Joseph was able to join us. So he was our back-end developer, and Katie was our mentor who's helped us for the past 8 weeks. So according to a survey from Forbes Health regarding New Year's resolutions for 2023, what they found was that many people Particularly young people are prioritizing their mental health over physical health for their New Year's resolutions. Most people cite improved mental health as a top resolution, over 45%, compared to improved fitness or weight loss. And what was also interesting, maybe not so surprising, was that 52% plan on using a resource, such as an app or online platform, for assistance in sticking to their resolutions. I want to talk a little bit more on journaling and how that can help with your mental health. So journaling can help you prioritize your daily problems, fears, and concerns. It can track any day-to-day symptoms so that you're able to recognize your triggers and learn ways to better control them. And lastly, it provides an opportunity for positive self-talk and identifies negative thoughts and behaviors so you can work on them. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to Amy. She's a young professional. She's tried journaling a few times in the past, but she's failed to follow through with it. And now she wants to make it a habit to better her mental health. Some of the pain points she faced were that she was afraid of journaling, journaling the wrong way, and that she doesn't know how to journal. Felt like homework to her, and there was also no visible instant gratification from journaling just for a few days. And with those pain points in mind, our problem statement is, how might we make the experience of journaling more intuitive and exciting for people who prioritize their mental health so they become more present and mindful in their lives? And before we show the solution, the product, I wanted to hand it over to Kirby to talk a little bit more about user testing.
Thanks, James. So for the user testing, we had developed a high fidelity prototype of which we handed off to development to basically create and make live. The whole entire process that we were trying to test was mainly the process of creating a journal, starting the voice dictation of the journaling, and then saving that journal as well. So as a result of, we had a total of 3 testers, and basically the task was to try to have them successfully create a journal and then save it with little instructions from our team. And as a result, all users were successfully able to complete the task. One user did struggle. They were using a Mac, but when they switched to a PC, they were able to complete. The issue they were experiencing was that the voice dictation was not working when they were on a Mac, but for some reason on a PC, it worked. So we need to do a little bit more further research to figure that out. So as a result, you can see the solution here. We have the user can input the title of their journal in the body, and then as soon as they click the microphone button at the bottom, the voice dictation will start, and then they are also able to view their journals in the left nav. I'll give it over to James to basically provide a live demo.
Thanks, Kirby. So I'll show a quick demo of how it works. So you'll be able to create your account, sign in, and it'll take you directly to the creating new journal page. So all you have to do is put in the title. And once you start recording, it will just automatically start transcribing your voice into text. And once you're done, you'll be able to simply press the pause button or stop button and save the journal, and you'll be able to see those. In the My Journal section, well, you'll be able to access all the past journals from when you recorded. So back to the presentation. So as key learnings for myself, I learned the importance of why having a product manager is so crucial to developing a product. There were countless learning moments, such as prioritizing features and compromising what needed to ensure that the project was on track, and there were no distractions or blockers. And it also helped me tremendously in being present and actively listening in meetings to make sure everyone's voices were heard and the group stay motivated to work towards the same goal through effective communication. With that, I'll pass it over to Kirby.
Thanks. And just quickly talking about key learnings, cross-team communication is an obvious one, working with development, working with product, really understanding the blockers with the teams as well. I think we had some blockers on the front end and back end side, but it was really important to understand those blockers, and it really improved my technical understanding as well in terms of how I could potentially help and how we can try to find those resources for help. And obviously time management. We were, our team, we were all in various different time zones. And so being able to work asynchronously, but also be able to attend weekly meetings was also a really big, important learning for us as well. And with that, I'll pass it off to Royal.
Yeah, so some of the key learnings that I had on my end was just like organizing and prioritizing certain features. And now that I know better of the process and working with a cross-functional team and working with the design aspect, it really gets me a better understanding of what to sort of like put as like the first goal and second goal and maybe afterwards. So it just required a little bit of patience. And with that, we did have a few blockers, but I think in the end, we were able to solidify an actual demo piece. And with a little bit more perseverance, I think we'll have a completed project, and I think I look forward to that. And that wraps up the presentation. So thanks for listening to AudioScribe. Open up the floor to any questions.
I have a question. I'm curious why you kind of decided to go with like an audio transcribing over just a traditional way of like just like typing.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually started with just note-taking app, but we wanted to tackle those just random thoughts you had throughout the day. And we figured that was more in the line of journaling rather than note-taking. So we kind of pivoted into journaling and wanted to incorporate voice transcription. So it makes it easier for people to just start recording their voice and just unload their thoughts throughout the day.
I'm Diamond. Nice to meet you. Great prez. I'm curious if you all are considering adding like an export feature so that the file could be saved on your phone opposed to in the application, given that there's an overabundance of applications today already just on people's phones that are unused.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We actually haven't thought of it, but we do have other features such as like making it into an app or editing features, a lot of different features we didn't get to in order to launch this in 8 weeks, but that's definitely something we can explore if we decided to go with the product.
Also consider a plugin opposed to an app, just a thought.
Yeah, and to just kind of piggyback off of that, and from the design standpoint, we did have a couple of other features, but we were trying to kind of work with the technical constraints that we currently had. And so what we have live demoed were basically kind of like the core features of what AudioScribe should be, which is a place where you can create a journal and start your voice dictation. We definitely had a couple of other features in mind, but we just kind of due to time constraint, we were unable to fully flesh those all out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, team. Your product has been one of my favorites since the beginning because I'm an avid journaler myself and would love to see something that could make it easier as well too. So really awesome to see, where you got to with that. There is another question in the chat as well, in the chat as well. So do jump in there and answer those questions as they come up. Great job. And we'll move on to our last team Homestretch.
Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
All right. Hello and welcome to Homestretch, where we are closing the gap to home ownership. Next. Buying a home is one of the most important decisions a person can make. Purchasing property offers stability, privacy, and investment and pride in owning your own home. Next. Although a significant and exciting milestone, the home buying process can be daunting, frustrating, stressful, and confusing. Next. Of the 66% of Americans who owned a home in 2022, less than a third were first-time buyers. When you control for factors such as age or race, disparities in home ownership rates are even greater, specifically for younger generations and people of color. Next. Some of the pain points first-time homebuyers experience are saving for a down payment, improving their credit score, finding competent and compassionate real estate professionals, and overall, general lack of knowledge about the home buying process and what it entails. Next. How might we prepare first-time buyers so that they feel confident navigating the home buying process? Next. Homestretch aims to close the disparity gap in home ownership by educating first-time buyers on the home buying process, by connecting them to national and Florida-based resources that eliminate barriers to home ownership. Homestretch has 4 key features: the homepage, which serves as the main entry point and hub for the web app, the profile, which provides a personalized experience and full access to all features on the platform, the education center, aimed at informing first-time buyers on each step of the home buying process, from improving your credit score to moving into your first home, and the resources tool, which is a culmination of information about down payment assistance, closing costs, credit repair, and more, aimed at eliminating barriers to homeownership. Now for the demo. You're on mute. Behnam.
Hello, everyone. It's Homestretch Live. As a guest user, I have limited access to the website contents. For example, I can have access to the content on the homepage, containing some of handpicked contents and latest news about the home buying process. And I can also navigate to the education center, but since I'm not logged in, I'm not allowed to visit the content. So for this purpose, I need to log into the website by providing my email address and my password. Okay. Maybe it's better to refresh the page. Okay, I'm logged in and I can navigate to the education center. I can see some courses about home buying, and I can navigate through the pages of this course. I can watch some tutorials on this specific course and some links about to gain more information about that. I can also navigate to some resources. I can scroll down and read more about each resource. I can complete my profile and get access to more curated and customized content. For example, here I need to complete some questionnaires and submit them to get access to curated contents. Okay.
Okay, goes to the next. Thank you. And now the team behind Homestretch. Next. Going through this bootcamp gave me hands-on experience. I was able to build a product with the team to solve a real-world problem. As a product manager, we often lead without direct authority. It's more than simply setting deadlines and expecting the team to meet them. Inspiring and motivating your team is critical. When working with a diverse cross-functional team, each member has unique motivations and objectives, making it vital to align on a shared vision, foster collaboration, and establish strong relationships with team members. Communication played a critical role in the success of our global team. Despite the many hurdles, we were able to come together and successfully launch an MVP. Next.
During the course of this program, I was able to enhance my technical skills and gained an understanding of what it's like to work in a cross-functional team. I learned how to communicate my design decisions more effectively with team members. And also the experience from COLAB has helped me to understand specific challenges that team members may face while working as a cross-functional team, and as well how to navigate those challenges.
Okay, as a developer, it was a great opportunity for me to develop a product from A to Z. And it was also nice to implement some new features and gain more experience on that. And from non-technical point of view, it was also nice to learn some experience on working on cross-cultural teams, and also learn something about communication skills and time management. And yeah, it's all about Homestretch. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you. That's it.
Wonderful. We can open it up to a few questions.
Hey team, good job on the presentation. I wanted to learn more about how you plan to expand, if you had more time, or what you would iterate on next, given the research that you guys had done, and also sort of probably your own backlog.
Yeah. So there's a few features that we really wanted to implement but couldn't. And so some of those features included quizzes. So a part of the course, coming from an education background, having a quiz or some type of assessment helps deepen the learning. And so being able to implement that in the next iteration is really important to me, to make sure they're not just watching videos, but they're really like understanding and comprehending the information. So that was one. The second one was a recommendations tool and a dashboard. And so being able to track your progress as a first-time buyer, and being able to say, okay, like I've checked this off, I've improved my credit, so now to the next step. And like being able to see that progression, because one of the main things that a lot of the users and people that responded to the survey, they talked about like how frustrating the process is. And so being able to log in and see like, this is how far I've come, and being able to see that on the dashboard and see, okay, I only need to do these couple of steps next, I think is really important. And then as far as like the information right now, it's very Florida based because there's a lot of information when it comes to the home buying process between the different laws for each state. And just each state has their own different programs and different things like that. And it was really hard to get all of that information and launch in 8 weeks. And so I would also want to expand that. So those are just like the few things.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. If there's any other questions, we'll take that and then we'll wrap up. I'll just give it a quick second. All right, I don't see any other questions at the moment. Do jump into the chat, see the amazing feedback from everybody, and I'll unspotlight all of you. Great job, Team Homestretch. Thank you so much. Unspotlight the timer. I'm looking for Shifumi. There we go. I'll spotlight you as well.
I'm here. Hey everyone, welcome back. I just came back from our room where we had like an amazing set of presentations. And I can't wait to watch back the recording of this room so I can get to see all the presentations from this team, from all the teams here. And yeah, I was just telling the folks in the previous room that I'm so proud of everyone, not just showing up today, but working hard over the past 8 weeks. Technically 10 weeks, because you did have a 2-week break, but it's really fascinating to see what you've been able to accomplish and demo and learn and grow in different ways. So thank you all so much for, working hard, powering through it. I know it wasn't always easy. I definitely know that things weren't always as smooth and things were challenging. We're all in different time zones. I think in this cohort, we have people from about 10 different countries. So there's definitely some challenges there, but the fact that you're all here today, smiling, presenting, and proud of yourself, I think it's something that we should all celebrate. And I'm incredibly proud of every single one of you. So before we wrap up and sort of like end the session, I always like taking pictures. We always like taking pictures so we can showcase the amazing work of everyone. So if you're comfortable, feel free to turn on your camera and we'll get ready to take a quick picture together. So you can grab an item close to you and then we can get ready. I'll just grab my COLAB water bottle and then we can get ready to take a nice picture. Are you ready? All right. In 3, 2, 1, yay, great. Thank you all so much for participating in that picture. Hopefully everyone was able to show. I know there's people in like other, you know how Zoom has the multiple like windows and there's people there, but hopefully we could all fit in. But yeah, happy Friday. Great job, everyone. I'm incredibly proud of you all. I can't wait to go through the product packs, replay this video. I want to encourage you to remain engaged in the community, continue to work with each other, continue to develop your products, continue to develop your skills, and continue to work with each other. And I want you also remind you all that you do belong in tech. You're incredibly talented, and this session has essentially showed how talented you are. I would like to also say thank you to all our amazing mentors for being here today, for helping and supporting the teams throughout the 8 weeks, technically 10 weeks, and also here encouraging them and asking very thoughtful questions. I'm incredibly excited for the future, for what it is that you're going to do. And I honestly can't wait to see all those wins come in. And I can't wait to see all the amazing, cool things that you end up doing in the foreseeable future. And so that wraps up our demo day. Happy Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks all.